So I decided to make a short video about commitment. This commitment meaning like what is your level of commitment towards the changes that you want to make, or towards the goals that you're trying to achieve, or um, towards the to whatever it is that you put yourself, whatever you decide to say, I'm going to do this. So um, I wanted to make a short video about that because I think is really good to talk about that real quick. Because sometimes we don't know what level of commitment we're in, and then we get frustrated with ourselves because we're like, why didn't I do it? I said I was gonna do it and I didn't do it, so we get upset. And then we start like self-blaming, and then we start getting angry with ourselves, and then self-esteem goes down, and then all of that. So one very good step to do before all of that happens, in order to avoid all that happening, is to figure out what is our level of commitment as to what we're saying we're going to do. So let's say, for example, you choose to um, Mm, let's say, for example, a person says that they're going to read 5 books a week. Wow, that's pretty big, right? I don't know. For me, it's pretty big. 5 books a week, that's a lot. Well, you're going to college and you have to do it. That's true. I had to do that too in college. That's true. Okay, maybe it's not that pretty big. It's doable. It's a lot of work, but it's doable. So um, you see how I did that? I thought objectively there for a second. I challenged my own negative self-talk about the 5 books per week. So jokes aside, so let's say the person says, I'm going to read 5 books a week to better improve myself, to make myself um, to better, to personal growth, like all that. Um, so and then a week passes by, and then they only find themselves only reading like half a book. And then the next week comes by, and then they find themselves reading one book. And then the week passes by, and then so on. Like it's fluctuating. Then the week passes by, and then there's 2 books, and then another week is like one book, and then there's a half a book, and it goes like that because they get really busy, or there's other things that is going on in their life that they just don't have the time to do the 5 books. And so and then they're like, then they start getting frustrated, like, man, like, after after they do like a uh they look back and then start seeing questioning, like, well, how come I didn't do the 5 books? I said I was gonna do it. I'm so upset with myself, like, how come I didn't do it? I'm so mad. I'm frustrated I didn't do it. um like, I really wanted to do it. How come I didn't do it? Well, one of the reasons could be that maybe your level of commitment wasn't there. And maybe the level of commitment for the other things that you had to do in your personal life was higher than the others, than the 5 books, right? Or maybe it varied, right? That's possible. So, for example, when the person says, okay, like, I'm going to read the 5 books, but then there's like a little inner self doubt, just like how I did it earlier. A little inner self doubt, like, is that possible? Wow, that's a lot. Like, little inner self doubt appears. And so, what does that do? That could lower down the level of commitment. um and then, or they're really committed, and then the next day something happens, like, for example, an emergency, a personal emergency, or let's say, like work, like a project came up at work, and then there's like a time limit, and now the level of commitment for the 5 books a week decreases. And then now your level of commitment for work and for the personal emergency goes way higher because that's prioritized way higher. And then time passes by, and you're like, why didn't I do it? You get mad at yourself. So, again, one of the things that you could try to figure out first is, what's my level of commitment, and has it changed? And if it has changed, how come it has changed? Kind of like try to understand yourself more as to how come I did it like that, and then that will then does help increase empathy of yourself instead of being so harsh on yourself, or unforgiving or upset for not meeting this goal that you really wanted to do at the time that you set, but then because of circumstances it changed. So what are the levels of commitment? So this is based on reality therapy. So level one, for example, would be, I don't want to be here, you can't help me, or I don't want to do it, nobody can help me, like, I'm just not sure. And before I start, this is different than the stages of change. It can be similar, but it is different. So some people, it was actually pretty hard for me to find some sort of handbook, or like a sort of sheet, because I wanted to show you guys where it can, so you guys can see it, but um, it was kind of hard. Instead, what came out more was the 5 stages of change, which is different because the 5 stages of change deals with the behavior, changing a behavior. The levels of commitment has to do with how committed you are to something, not necessarily the stages of change as to how committed, like how committed you are to changing something, but or a behavior specific. It's more behavioral, but this is has to do more about how committed you are to whatever it is that you're deciding to commit. So it's very similar, but it's not the same. um so I actually had to get this directly from the textbook that I studied in school years ago. So it's in the textbook, it's there. And it's in other, I found like some other areas where people have done it for the presentations for school and all that, when you're studying reality therapy. So it is there, but again, this is similar than stages of changes, but it is not the same as how I understand it. Now, if somebody wants to correct me there, please do. But if I recall very well, is different, but it's very similar. So level one, I don't want to be here. You can't help me. So they're not that committed there. They're not that committed to whatever it is they said they're going to commit. Like like I'm not sure if I want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to read the 5 books. I'm just not there yet. I'm not, maybe I'll read one. Like that's the level one. So level two, I want what's gonna happen after I read the 5 books, which is, yeah, that sounds really. I'll know a lot more, but I don't want to do it all. I don't want to do. I'm not committed to that whole work of actually reading the 5 books. So that will be level two. So it's kind of like some sort of like similar, like, yeah, like I'm committed, I'm a little bit committed, but I'm not that committed to doing the whole thing, you know. And level three is, I'll try, I might, I could, meaning like, for example, okay, I'm gonna try to do it. I might do it. Maybe I'm not sure. Maybe okay. Maybe I'll do two. Maybe I'll do three. I'm not sure about five. Like I want to, but I'm not sure if I want to actually do the 5, right? Like kind of like level 2. Like I want to know how it feels like to be reading the 5 books after like knowing all the info. Yeah, that'll be nice. But I don't know if I really want to do the whole thing of reading the 5 books. That's level 2. But then level 3 is like, okay, like I might try, I might open a book. I might open a book today, maybe I'll open another book. Maybe that's how some people end up doing half projects. Half of what they put themselves. And there's some people that end up saying, I always start projects but I never finish them, because maybe their level of commitment is on level 3. So they're starting something, and they might, they could, like, they might do it, but they're not really there. Like they're not really committed to doing the whole read the whole book, you know, the whole 5 books. So then level 4 is, I will do my best. So level 4 is, I'm gonna do my best to read those 5 books. Okay, I'm gonna set up a plan. I'm gonna do my best. Okay, so what do I need to do so I can do this? Because I'm committed. I'm level 4 committed. Like I want the outcome. I want to try it. I want to know how it feels. I want the results. Okay, so I'm gonna do my best. I'm committed to this. And then level 5 is like I'm gonna do whatever it takes. Like I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get it done. It's gonna happen. There is no doubt. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. It's like that mentality of like it's going to happen. Whatever, whatever. Priority number one. Whatever the world. Nope. I'm gonna read them 5 books. It's going to happen. That level of commitment of like it's gonna happen. Like you visualize it, like you're like visualizing it, you are seeing it, you are seeing yourself doing it, you're committed 100%. That's like I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna set time apart. I'm gonna do it. So it's that level of commitment that is like the highest level. So how does this help knowing which level you are? you know so again, the 5 stages of change has to do with like pre-contemplation, contemplation, and all that. It has to do with basically like changing the behavior, like if you're contemplating or not and stuff. But that has to do with that. But this has to do with level of commitment, like how committed you are. So let's say, for example, you want to improve relationship with your husband or your wife or your family member. Well, how committed are you to that? Like how committed are you? What level of commitment are you? Are you in the number one where it's like, okay, I don't know. I don't think there's nothing wrong with us. Why should I do anything? Or are you level two where it's like, it will be nice, it will be closer, but what? I think we're okay. I don't want to do all that work, going to therapy all that time. Like, I think it's too much time. I'm not sure if I want to do all that, but it will be nice. That would be level two. Level three will be like, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do the sessions. I'm gonna try to listen. I'm gonna try to pay attention. I'm gonna try to do it, but well, we'll see how it goes. But like that. Level four is like, okay, I'm gonna listen, I'm gonna pay attention, I'm gonna take notes. I'm gonna work. I'm gonna do the homework. If I'm giving homework, like the counselor gives homework, I'm gonna do the homework. I'm gonna do the worksheets. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do my best, but I'm not gonna say I might do it all. Like I'm gonna do my best, but there might be something, what if something happens and I might not be able to do that worksheet or something, like I'm gonna do my best. That's number 4. Number 5 is like, nope, this is number 1 priority. I'm going to do the worksheets. I'm going to do everything. Like I'm going to do all of the necessary steps. I'm gonna do it all. Like I'm gonna do it. I'm committed. I'm committed 100%. That's what level 5 is. So if there was like some sort of like 100%, you could divide it in 5. So what's 100 divided by 5? 25. So you could do it like, level 1 is like 25%, level 2 is like what is it, 50%, level 3 is like 75, level 4 is like, what is it? Oh, I'm getting messed up. So it was 100 divided by 5. It's 20%. 100 divided by 5. Let me divide this on the calculator. 100 is 20%. So level 1, 20%, level 2, 40, level 3, 60, level 4, 80, and level 5, 100. So you can put it like that if you're a mathematician or you like math a little bit. I like math, believe it or not, but I'm not that fast, so I need a calculator. So yeah, so you could do it like that too. Okay, I'm 80% committed to this, or I am 60%. We'll see how it goes. Or you know what? I'm 20%, or I'm zero. Level 1 could be zero too. Um, so let's go back to that five book situation. So let's say, for example, you commit yourself to the 5 books, and then you say, okay, well, you're not really committed. You're just saying, I'm gonna do the 5 books. Like my year's resolution is I'm gonna read 5 books every week. And then you're like, but you're just saying it, but you haven't really identified what level of commitment you are in this resolution that you did, this goal that you set yourself up to. You haven't really identified what level. You haven't really thought about what level. Like you haven't really thought about, okay, like, is it a realistic goal? Is it something that I really want to do? Like, if I were to put in a percentage, like how committed am I? Like Is it something that I just want the outcome, like it looks nice, but I really don't want to do all of that work, like it's so much? Or is it something that I really enjoy, or I really enjoy reading the 5 books? I have actually done it before and I can do it. Like, is it something that I can definitely do this? Like if I set a time aside, once 1 hour a week, or whatever, like I think it is doable. So maybe I am 80%. Like, let's say you identify and you say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with myself. I am 60% committed to this goal. This is what I want to do, but I'm 60% committed to this goal. Um, and so the week passes by and you end up reading 2 books, and then the next week passes by, you end up reading 1 book, and then then a month passes by and you're like, okay, let me evaluate, right? Because you want to hold yourself accountable. Let me evaluate and see if I actually fulfill my New Year resolution of reading the 5 books per week. And you find yourself that, hey, like the maximum amount of books that I have read in a week is actually 3. And interesting enough, my level of commitment was 60%. So because I really, like, I tried, but I I tried, but I kind of doubted a little bit. I had a little doubt if I could do it. So it makes sense why I only read 3. So what could that be? Maybe that means that maybe I should just stick to the 3. I like the outcome. So why don't we just, be flexible and change this goal to 3? So let's see how that goes. Let's see if we can stick to the 3. And then you can modify your goals like that, and you still feel achieved, still feel like you did something, still feel like you accomplished something, instead of feeling bad about yourself and blaming and getting angry and be like, why didn't I do it? I wasn't committed, or how come? Or maybe you thought you were 100% committed, but then something happened, like I explained earlier, and then it changed. Oh, and when you self-evaluate, you can say, oh, well, I see why. It's because I had that personal emergency, I didn't have the time, or I was dealing with this, I was dealing with that, I didn't have the time. So it made sense because the other stuff went up the list. The other stuff on the level of commitment for my job or for my personal situation went up the list, and the other things went down. So it makes sense why it happened like that. So I guess, I'll just modify my New Year resolution. I'll just make it 3 and see how that goes. So you kind of work with yourself out, be like solution focused, based on your self evaluation as to, oh, like this is what I did, this is how I modify it, and I don't feel so bad about myself because I realized that my level of commitment from day one was 60%. Um, and it's good to be honest with yourself from the beginning when setting goals, because if you tell yourself, or you try to lie yourself and say that you're 100% when you're really not, and internally you're feeling some sort of self-doubt, just like how I did at the very beginning, and you're feeling some sort of self-doubt, a little bit of self-doubt, you're not 100%. So maybe you're at 80%, or maybe you're 85%. It's good to be honest with yourself, because then you can identify, okay, I was a little self-doubting, and maybe that's why it happened like that. But that's okay. Maybe I need to modify, or maybe I need to do little changes here and there so I can stick to what I want. you know or or maybe I need to be more committed, or what could make me be more committed, what could help increase my level of commitment, like how come reading 5 books is so important for me in my life? What is it about it? Like you could ask yourself little self-awareness, like questioning, open-ended questions to yourself, and ask yourself, "Well, how come it's so important to you to do this goal?" And maybe that can increase your level of commitment, and maybe that can affect your behavior. But first, in my opinion, is you want to figure out what is your level of commitment, and where are you at there, and be honest with yourself as to where you are there, so then you can then see if you can do it, and if you can do it, you're 100% committed to it, you do it, then you feel good. But if you are honest with yourself, well, I was 60%, I was 80, so makes sense why I did it like that. Okay, so what, and then you can work it. So am I comfortable with this, or should I increase it, or should I decrease it? Maybe it was very stressful to read 3 books, so man, that was very stressful, maybe I should decrease that. Like what could you do? You can then work with yourself on finding solutions that best work for you, right? Because that's what really matters, is finding solutions that best work for you and your lifestyle and your mental health. because you don't want to do things that are, too strenuous, too stressful, and then you're just hurting yourself. There's no need to increase more hurt. so anyway, so it's supposed to be a short video, but again, it ended up being a longer video. Sorry. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will try to show a picture after this, after I go. And okay, so take care. Bye. Hey guys, so as promised, here is the levels of commitment that I've been talking about in the video. There's level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. And this is from reality therapy, um, which was started by William Glasser. Let me see, psychiatrist William Glasser. Um, so as you can see, uh, and this is the stages of change. So I just wanted to present to you real quick so you can see how it is different. Where, for example, the stages of change, which maybe I'll talk in another video more in depth, um, is the stages of change. Like, how are you changing in each and every stage? They're not levels, but they're stages. And for example, in the pre-contemplation stage, the cause of the problem behavior not yet recognized. So the so they may, like it says here, they may have made previous attempts to change, but have since. So this is all focused on change, on changing a behavior, or changing something, and it's like a stage. Unlike on levels of commitment, is more about how committed you are, and what level are you in. And it's very similar. You can see how even the quotes, they look very similar, um, but they're not. They're different. So I just wanted to share that, so you're not confused and like, oh, it's the same. Oh, that's the stages of change. Well, no, it's similar, but in my from my experience and from what I have learned, is different. So here they are, and this I got this from the textbook, directly from the textbook, from what I learned in school. And this I got from Google, because this is something that is very used in the addiction treatment field. And I don't know this organization. I think it's from Canada, but I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I'm not getting any money from them in any way. I just, again, I found this and I thought it was really good document showing what the stages of change are. And so that's why I wanted to share it here in the video. Well, I appreciate you all listening and hopefully paying attention. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Take care. Bye.